Presented by Data East.
Welcome to part 5 of the Minnesota Fats Pool Legend commentary. We're about to go into Single Pocket, the longest pool game that I have ever had to deal with. Ugh, Duck Single Pocket. Why do I have a distaste for Single Pocket? Oh, we're gonna go up against Pepe. I mean, Pepe. Oh my goodness, no, I'm sorry. Pepe Garcia. Oh my goodness. Pepe Garcia. Oh, I am so sorry. I am so fucking sorry. Oh man, that's... Okay, so here's how Single Pocket works. Single Pocket, also known as One Pocket, forces you to have to only be locked onto one particular pocket to sink your balls in. You have to be very strategic in the way that you scatter the balls, because one false move and it's game over. Now, technically you can play this game with up to 12 players. 12 players dedicated to 6 separate pockets, alternating in teams. Teams of 2, of course. But if you're doing one-on-one, you are only limited to one single pocket available to you, which means you have to pocket the majority of balls in order to win the game. And it doesn't matter what balls those are, whether it's stripes or if it's solids. Very strict rules have it be that you can only sink in stripes plus the 8 ball or solids plus the 8 ball, but fortunately this doesn't do that. Ugh. And be very careful if you're playing this on call your shot rules. Oh, that is ducking difficult. I can't even tell if anybody could ever do that. So in a one-on-one, in which you're only limited to one single pocket to deal with, these games usually can take about 30 minutes to an hour. It depends per game. Fortunately, though, I take my time. But I don't take too long. I only need to pocket 8 balls in order to win. But say, like, I wanted to play a 6-player game. Remember, you have 15 balls to work with here. So, like, if you do 15 divided by 6, I'm gonna bring up my my calculator, because this is a very odd number that you get. So let's see. Let me put now. Okay, so if I do 15 divided by 6, the number I get is 2.5. That means the first person to pocket 3 balls into their particular pocket will end up winning the game. And again, that's very hard if you're playing a 6-way matchup where everybody is locked to a specific pocket in particular. It's not an easy task. It's a worthy challenge, though. It's a very worthy challenge. So I do believe that if you ever want to duke it out in single pocket games, you know, let's do that. Let's do that sometime. Let's have it be a 6-way or 12-person 6-way match, where it takes hours just to beat the game because we have to get three balls out of 15. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. And as you can tell now, I'm kind of now in the flow of things, so yep, all I've got to do now is just keep on hitting balls from the side, and once that's possible, I can just rack up points very quickly. Oh, the color bleed's bad on this table. Yeah, as I mentioned before, because of the way that I had dealt with this particular video, or at least particular raw footage, what basically happened with me is that there's a lot of pixelation, but it's on like very small sprites. You won't see it on, like, you'll see it on the Now Thinking text, and you'll see it on the balls on the table. You'll see some pixelation here and there around, like you'll see like a little bit of like what looks like an anchor hanging out of the lower left corner of the 8 ball. and it delivers a kind of like an old analog TV pixelation error, which I like it, but it just doesn't translate well into digital. This comes from somebody that has studied digital television and digital recording of videos for a long time, because I ended up educating myself on it back in 2007, because back in the day, I've always done things in digital. Digital has always been where my hotspot is, but I also used to do work in analog. So when we had to do a mandatory switch from analog to digital, given the way that both federal government and regular TV communication transmissions were starting to go, I just started to see that there was a lot of issues with the way that modern digital technology it was progressing, and it's still noticeable even today. One of the biggest issues that I have in the regard of digital video is the matter regarding LaGuardia. Yes, LaGuardia Airport. No, no. The biggest issue that I have regarding digital video is the matter that quality is still a factor. That's what I'm trying to say here. Quality is still a major factor. When I can't really see like in-depth textures of things, when I can't see even like the smallest bit of textures on like the skin or the eyes or just like a small piece of paper, that kind of irks me, that I can't have that true zoom in enhance feel. And it's more or less because of a few things. One is the resolution issue. Like, for example, a good amount of my commentaries are still in 480p. Why is that? It's because data storage. If I had better data storage, if I had external hard drives, maybe I would switch to 720p. Maybe I would switch to 1080p. Maybe I would even switch to 1600p, which is my Hyper HD standard used for my wallpapers. But I can't do that. I can't do that provided the limits I've got right now. And, it's kind of a shame. It definitely is very much a shame that I'm limited to not being able to have the detailing that I want. But at the same time, it also goes into a matter regarding what is known as video bitrate. You see, video bitrate also determines your overall video's quality as well as its file size. When you up the resolution, you want to make sure that the video bitrate is also good. For 480p, you want to have it be a variable bitrate. Like what I do for variable bitrate for me in 480p, I do 2.5 megabits per second, and I go no higher than 4. Usually it's somewhere in between. It usually ranges to about 32 to 3700. But when I'm doing like an HD video, I have to go up a bit higher to prevent it from getting pixelated due to a bitrate. Normally YouTube says have it at 3500, but that's not acceptable for me. To preserve quality and to prevent pixelation whenever I'm using Magix Vegas 14. I gotta keep remembering that it's called Magix Vegas now. What I have to resort to is having the bitrate be between 5,000 kilobits per second or 5 megabits per second and 7.5. That's just to keep the quality intact. I don't know how high you have to have it for 1080p. I don't know how high you have to have it for 1250, 1440, 1600, 2304, 2160, or even 4320, which is 8K resolution. I've been wanting to go to 8K for a long time, but unfortunately because of our resources here in Massachusetts, we can't go up to 8K. Seriously, I'll be truthful. If I were running things in this city, or even in this state altogether, I would make sure that we have debatably the best resources. Because, Korea and Japan, they're already moving on to 8K and even 16K in certain unique cases. you know, they have high-resolution imaging. They have high dynamic range, which we're starting to get over here. Heck, Royameadow and Company is already using high dynamic range for select episodes on Royameadow the channel, on Oshameadow, Gabimeadow, Doug Riss, Luna, Kelsey Evans, KSEV, and even our sister station, Royameadow International, which will officially relaunch itself on January 1 of 2017. In fact, HDR will fully be available for all affiliates as of January 1 of 2017, with a perfected template on it in 2018, but we'll get to that when the time comes. Fortunately, HDR actually, I would say, helps out in the matter of image compression, oddly enough, because of the recoloring. Sure, there's more colors on screen, but I notice I'm suffering less from data consumption in HDR as opposed to SDR, standard dynamic range. It just feels weird to say that, but whether the video is in standard definition or high definition, HDR apparently saves me issues with colors as opposed to SDR. I don't understand how that works. And this is coming from the guy that has studied, this comes from the guy that has studied video imaging techniques for years, for well over a decade. It doesn't make sense to me, but I guess it will over time. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I've done it yet or if Pepe has done it here, or Pepe. I'm gonna call him Pepe. I can't believe I called him Pepe. I'm so sorry, Mr. Garcia. But yeah, as I was trying to say here, when it comes to pocketing balls, one of the things you will notice is if you pocket a ball in another pocket, assuming you didn't pocket a ball into your pocket, and you pocketed a ball into something else, like if you pocketed a ball into pocket 1, which is your designated one, but you also pocketed one into pocket 6, which is the lower right corner pocket, that ball would come back onto the table, but it would still be your turn. But if you just randomly pocketed a ball into a pocket that's not yours, your turn changes. But so long as you hit a ball, it's rendered as a safety. You won't ever have to worry. Like, I just pocketed the 2. The 2 comes back. It has to go on that little diamond right there, or that little dot. Sometimes it's a diamond, sometimes it's a dot. Depends on the table. But it's not that hard to get into this game. It's very, very easy once you get the hang of it. Unfortunately, the only issue I have with this title as opposed to the 1992 port on the Genesis and also the Super Famicom is, I want to say, more or less the fact that, you know, the vaporwave feel of this game doesn't exist. There is no vaporwave feel. There's no retrowave feel, or vapor synth, or omnisynth, or whatever the duck else there is. It doesn't exist. All it just feels like is just a standard pool hall. You're not going around from state to state impressing women. It's not like 1986 and 1992 where that was very fun and acceptable. It's just too basic. But again, this game makes up for it because there's just so much to do. Because you have your arcade mode / story mode. You have your tournament mode here. You've got your free play with some extra games. You know, you've even got 3-ball. You've got 3-ball. Yeah, 3-ball, where you have to complete the game, or at least sink all 3 of your balls in as many moves as possible. You've got a very expansive trick shot mode, which, oh, you'll love the trick shot mode in this game. And, heck, even after that, oh, right, sorry, I forget, you don't get to challenge Minnesota Fats himself unless you're playing the Saturn version. Right, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, the spoiler alert, we actually get to duke it out with the real Minnesota Fats as well in the Saturn version. But it's done in a very different way. You'll probably like how it's done. You'll probably like how it's done. Oh, I just thought of something. Do I have to do this twice? Or is it just one round? Oh, I hope it's not 2 rounds. Because the Saturn version has single pocket, being you have to win 2 rounds in order to go to the next. Oh, why did I even... oh my goodness, that's disturbing. Now, if I had to say, like, does the manual say anything about, because I've never seen the instruction manual for this game, but does it talk at all about, who we're playing as? Because, you know, this character is playable in free play mode, he's playable in the tournament mode, and also in story mode, but we don't have an actual name for him. I mean, he's just called Player. So I'm assuming that he's a nameless protagonist. You know, video games really need to stop doing that, having nameless protagonists. Because, I don't know, I guess it just feels a bit uneasy when a character has no name. It's kind of like, so, you know, Vermilion is another good example, and I love Vermilion. Sword of Vermilion is debatably one of the best RPGs of its time. I mean, come on, it combines The Legend of Zelda with Phantasy Star 2, and even side-by-side Rock'em Sock'em Robot kind of fighting, kind of similar to the very horribly received title Heavy Nova. If you haven't played Heavy Nova, get the Sega CD version, you'll thank me later. It's significantly better than the Genesis version, at least in terms of soundtrack. I'll keep it at that. But yeah, I just don't like having to deal with games that have nameless protagonists, because if you have a game with a nameless protagonist, it just feels weird. There's no real enjoyment out of watching a game or going through a game without really knowing who the name of the character is. It's kind of like the logic of even the first Persona title, Persona, You Are Your Own Mind, in which, like, had it not been for the Super Gaming Brothers commentary by John and Matt, I wouldn't know that the main character's name is Hey You. I didn't know that for years. I just usually gave him a random name like Mike or something. Oh, no, wait, no, sorry. Mike was what I named Rolf in Phantasy Star 2 when I started playing it, right. Ugh, that was back in December of 2006. But no, Persona You Are Your Own Mind, you know, the only reason why I grew up with the first 3 titles, Persona You Are Your Own Mind, Innocent Sin, and Eternal Punishment, is more or less because fans of the game in my area just happened to have the game laying around on their shelves, and I was like, hey, what's this game? Let's give it a go. And, you know, that's basically how I got into it. You know, I'll be truthful, I didn't know much about Persona 3 until Chris had gotten out of his way to introduce it to me back, I want to say, in 2010. It was either late 09, early 2010, sometime around that. At the very latest, it was probably March or April of 10. But still, I still believe it is, to this day, a good modern-era RPG series, and I really do hope that, you know, Persona 5 goes well. From what I've heard, however, it's on it's on a delay. Seriously, Atlus has got to pick up their game. But then again, what's been happening with Atlus, of course, within the past matter of years, is that, you know, we've seen issues where, like, Russian celebrities have been seeing their own YouTube accounts getting hacked and delivering like a whole bunch of false flagging on just official YouTube videos of stuff such as the Persona series, such as Catherine. Heck, we even had an issue where Sega of Japan had that same issue where a whole bunch of Shining Force 3 videos were being taken down off of YouTube. And that ended up being just its own fault. So alongside a whole bunch of other financial issues and whatnot, you know, the Japanese division for Atlus ended up kind of getting a bit under fire between 2013 and 15. Sega ended up buying them out. So I wouldn't be surprised if what is going on right now, if any of Atlus's work, not just Persona, but anything else that they have on the back burner, is, I wouldn't be surprised the time that they're taking is because of the fact that Sega is currently their owners. But, you know, it's nice to see that at least, you know, you have one company looking out for another that way. I mean, at least it gives us a reason to have an Atlas versus Sega title. And that is the end of that round against Pepe. And oh my goodness, we're already 20 minutes and 27 seconds in? No wonder why this game was over 1 million frames long. Ugh. And I have to do 2 rounds. Ugh. I'm so sorry, everybody. We're gonna be here for a while. We're gonna be here for a long while. Now, here's why I let Pepe have the balls here. I want him to scatter them. And for good reason. I do expect him to pocket at least 1 or 2 of these, but it'll allow me to have a better strat as to how I want to handle this going further in. So let's see what we get. Alright, that looks good. That looks good. I think I can work with that. I think I did work with that. After all, all of this is done in the same footage. Can you believe this took about 11 hours to record? Yeah, this took 11 hours to record with breaks and with save states. If you take a look at part 1, or you know, I'll probably check that at the very end of this and just mention it at the very end of the commentary. But still, there's just so much you can do. Oh, alright. So the 6th ball, unless I royally screw it up, that's going in. Oh my goodness! You know who Pepe looks like? He looks like Moe with a mustache. Oh, but wait a minute. Didn't Moe have a mustache in one episode of the Three Stooges? Oh yes, You Nazty Spy. Yeah, basically in that episode, Moe was he was the leader of Moronica, which was a fictional country where I guess he became a dictator, where the guy that had allegedly told Moe about Moronica and also being a dictator, he basically said a dictator is a man who makes love to lots of women. That's not how dictators work, Moe. But no, Moe basically became a fictionalized version of Hitler, which, if I had to say, I would say a very, very good depiction of the time. Because when did that come out? Because I know for a fact that You Nazty Spy came out before. I think it came out during World War II, but before the end of it. So sometime, I think, between 1939 and 1944. I want to say 1941 or 42, but I can't be sure. It's been a long time since I've even seen it. In fact, the only time I really ever get to see it, I've never seen it in color, mind you. Speaking of which, UPN, or at least TV38, sorry, My Network TV38 as they're called now, which is the CBS affiliate for UPN at this time. You know, every year, you know, Dan and Dave Andelman, since 2005 or 2006, have held a Three Stooges marathon. They never show it in color. But that's the only time I ever get to watch the marathon. The only time I ever missed the marathon was in 2007. And that was more or less because I didn't have UPN available at the time due to an antenna fuse breaking, and also my old Sylvania TV, which my Durabrand TV also has similar technology, except without the tape recorder, of course, and without the red audio jack. It only has yellow and white. But it was at least nice to see at the time that, you know, I enjoyed watching the series. Or at least whatever episodes of the Three Stooges they had available. But we just don't get enough of it. Heck, they don't even show the series on Sundays anymore. Because for the longest time on UPN, it would usually be from maybe about 9 to 10:30. The Three Stooges would come on Sunday, and that went on for a good 6, 7, 8 years. It ended sometime, I want to say, in the early 2010X decade. I don't know if it was because Sony ended up giving up the rights. I mean, no, they never gave up the rights, but I guess our contract with Sony ended, so as a result, UPN no longer had the luxury to show the Three Stooges on Sunday, so I don't know how it has been handled ever since. All I know is that they always have a marathon available for the end of for the end of the year. It's usually every time on December 31. It used to always go all the way into the night. Nowadays, it's usually only going from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. And even at that, we don't even get enough Shemp episodes, we don't get enough Joe episodes. Heck, we don't even get anything out of the new Three Stooges with Curly Joe DeRita, or Joe DeRita as Curly. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to go on with that. I don't know how they're handling it this year either. They haven't even advertised the Three Stooges marathon, so I don't know what's going on with this. I guess I'll have to keep checking UPN later this week and next week going into the... oh, right, I forgot. The end of the year is on a Saturday this year. Oh, dang, that actually gives me some good ideas. But then again, it's the end of the year. I don't expect to be with anybody this holiday season. I'm the loneliest man in this town. Yeah, I'm the loneliest man in this town. I've said that on plentiful occasions. But that's fine by me. It's fine by me. At least I'm talking over Side Pocket 2 MD, and somebody out there is watching it. That's all I can appreciate. I'm humble with that alone. Anything else, to me, in my view, is extra. Okay, looks like we got the 2-ball back. Oh yeah, the 2-ball. Speaking of which, WGBH. Oh, WGBH 2. You know, I've been talking for a long time about why I want to see TV stations archive their old station IDs and logos. A good amount of them aren't available online. And in the case of WGBH, we're missing a lot. Because there was a time in the 90s, in the mid to late 90s, and going into the early 2000s, we had the apostrophe GBH campaign. In the 2000s, in between 1999 and 2001, there we had a specific station ID where you saw like a golden, I mean not a golden, you saw a metallic orange and white GBH disc, kind of like a frisbee almost. It kind of looked more like a pin-like button as opposed to a frisbee, actually. It would go through, you'd see it show up as a 3D model going through fog, and then a Big Anus 2 would show up. Somebody on the CLG Wiki also was talking about it. I'm surprised that other people even remember that. It was only used as a station ID when it was available in Massachusetts. I didn't have the luxury to record that, so unfortunately I don't have any archives of it. Another logo in recent time the WGBH has never archived online is an update to its 2013 variant. You see, in 2013, the same people that worked on the 2001 variant made a 2D version of it using modern era editing, using audio editing with Pro Tools, as well as a lovely animation in Cinema 4D. When that animation came out in 2013, I mean, Doug, it was the most beautiful thing I ever saw out of the modern era WGBH logos. Nowadays in 2016, we don't have that. It's just like some guy or woman saying like, hey, I'm whatever this name is, you're watching WGBH 2, or you're watching WGBX 44. In 2015, there was a follow-up to the 2013 logo, and it was only available in a very limited run. I think it only ran for about 3-4 months. Ran between April and August, I want to say, at the latest. April and August of 2015. You see the WGBH logo in the same style as it was in the 2013 logo, except it's on a turquoise motherboard. You see a whole bunch of white energy flowing into the WGBH logo, and then it turns on like a light bulb, a very flickering light bulb at that, similar to the 2013 logo, and it turns off in the same fashion. It was only used as a station ID, and I'm extremely surprised that people at the CLG Wiki haven't even mentioned it at all. You would think somebody would, but I remember it clearly. How is it that I, of all people, could remember something like that? I mean, I don't forget things like that. The fact that they didn't even pick it up goes to show you that, or goes to show me anyway, that, you know, they probably need somebody with a stronger memory to figure out certain more rarer, recent era logos. And hey, I wouldn't mind doing that. I would not mind going out of my way to try and find these things. I mean, I've been a logo researcher for a long time. Heck, I make my own splash screens. Heck, I even have splash screens I've never released. Just wait till you see the Royameadow 17 variant. There's also a Billy Griffin variant that I'm not uploading for a while. At least until copyleft becomes the norm. Actually, no, it would be within fair use, because even though it's like a 45-second clip, I mean, it's been slowed down to the point where, if sped up to its original format, it probably would have been in 30 anyway, so who cares? Who cares? Fine by me. Fine by me. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But as for that 2015 WGBH logo, I really do hope that somebody finds it, because that's not something you just look at and then not talk about. In my mind, I was thinking, if I don't record this, I know it's going to go missing. And that's what happened. The 2015 logo, unless if somebody recorded it on their HDR, on their DVR, it's going to be lost forever. What a sad time for entertainment we live in. Okay, I'm gonna have to throw away a ball here. Oh, my throat's starting to feel dry. I need water. Sadly, the water cup that I have on my table, oh, what the heck's in there? Oh, that looks toxic. Oh, but it delivers a lovely rainbow effect, though. I like that. I like that. It's toxic, but it has a rainbow effect. Yep, don't drink from the toxic cup, Mr. Roya. Clean it out before you do. Oh my goodness, I like those colors. That must be from the evaporation, because I mean, I've had this cup in here, I want to say, for like the past 15 days, and I haven't emptied out the water, I haven't washed it or anything. I think I'm doing this as a science experiment. I forget exactly why I did it, but I don't know. It's just a lovely cup here. This is actually a cup that you use to make wine and beer combinations. What company is this from? Cocktail Prescription, or Cocktail RX. Modern Cocktail Solutions. If any of you know what the heck that happens to be, please do let me know. Let's see. Brought to you by the Desert Pepper Trading Company. Very interesting name. Very, very interesting name. Desert Pepper Training. What does desert peppers and training have to do with anything nowadays? Because you never hear of somebody training in the desert eating peppers. Oh, wait a minute. Desert Pepper Training was something I did in Mario and Luigi RPG. Ah, yes, Mario and Luigi RPG, a very, very good title. You know it better here in the States and Europe as Superstar Saga. I don't know how to put it, but in Mario and Luigi RPG, you know, once you get to the desert section, you know, you can really get some good experience in that area. I mean, sure, you kind of have to be Peach's escort, but that's not a problem. Oh my goodness, did I just call her Peach? I just called her Peach. No, I don't call her Peach. I always called her Toadstool. Why am I calling her Peach now? Then again, 1996, she decided to be officially named Peach here in the States, although she was always Peach in Japan. It was just because of the branding, the name branding in the 80s that the US decided to rename her to Toadstool, Princess Toadstool. But that would mean that her official name is Peach Toadstool, right? That sounds accurate. It sounds logical. Doesn't sound out of place. In fact, I actually like that. I like it, yeah. Feels good. Always feels good in a Royan household. You wonder if I can do better? Dude, you just hit this like one of those little science things. You know what I'm talking about? It's like usually 5 to 7 balls on a little hanging like chain. You lift up one and it's like. I miss those. So basically, the way that those work, when you drop the ball, depending on how powerful it is, it delivers enough force that it'll hit the other ball at that same power level and speed, and keep doing it until there's no more force left. It gets weaker over time, but it's nice to see how that functions. It's cool. So what do we have here? Tie game. Oh, I curved that ball very wrong. Oh, wait, nope. I thought I wanted to throw away the 8 there. I think that's why I did that. But, yeah, I just had no clear opening. I have no clear opening in this. Again, never challenge me to a game of single pocket. This is not an easy game to play. I mean, it's probably easier to play single pocket if you have a 12-player game going on because the games are faster. You only need 3 balls, but in a one-on-one single pocket game where you only have 8 balls that you have to pocket, it could take forever, especially since you're locked onto the same pocket the whole time. That's why I probably would want to have it be 3-pocket. Be a 3-pocket game, similar to the way that 7-ball works. Because you see, in 7-ball, the way that it works is you can pocket the balls in any pockets that you want. But when you get down to the 7-ball, you have to choose which side of the board, which side of the table you want to sink the 7-ball in. Do you want to sink it in the top half of pockets, or do you want to sink it in the bottom half? That's how I would have it if it were a 3-pocket game. A 3-pocket game would have the top row or the bottom row, and you just pocket it into those. That would work faster than what we have here. Single pocket is a game of skill, and it's clear that I don't have that for single pocket. Single pocket will never be my forte because of that. Don't get me wrong, I played a Saturn version of this significantly better by comparison, but still. Do not ask me to play this. Do not ask me to play single pocket. This is just brutal. This is brutal. I don't like it. This takes too long. Way too ducking long. Heck, I would have lasted better with straight pull. I would have done better with 14.1 continuous. Single pocket. I do not want to ever have to touch this again. And, I mean, at least the, oh, right, I forgot I'm still doing the Saturn version. Single pocket is the last game in tournament mode for, I mean, at least I'm better at this than I was when I first recorded this earlier in the year, so I guess it's okay. Can't touch this. Can't touch this. You mean the Family Guy track? Can't touch me. Oh, it just can't touch me. But no, Then again, You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer basically is, in its own sense, a cover or remake of Super Freak. And I think Rick James ended up getting into a massive feud with MC Hammer about the usage rights of Super Freak. And I don't know if any money had to be paid to anybody over that. I don't know if anybody ended up... I don't know if a settlement was reached in that at any point, or whatever happened. Whatever happened, happened, but still. That was not a happy time when that lawsuit came around, or whatever debate it was. Apparently nowadays, however, MC Hammer has been back in the media with a commercial. And that commercial is, like, you notice, like, hooks that just stick onto the wall, where you can just, like, hook up like a jacket or a bag or something? Yeah, that's what he's promoting now. And he's still dressed as he was in the 80s and early 90s. Yep. And because of that, it'll always be Hammer Time. Hammer Time never gets old. Who would have thought, right? Alright, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Because now I can angle the cue ball in a fashion which I can sink either to 8 or to 1. But I don't think I'll be able to do that unless if Garcia decides to hit another ball. The 9 ball is going to have to come back onto the main portion of the field. That's going to have to be sunk. Oh, he's going to go for the 8. Oh, he helped me. He helped me out. Okay, good. Good, that's exactly what I wanted. Thanks, Pepe. Pepe. Let's see, ball curves, and now I have a luxury to either hit the 1. That looks as if it could work. So, Masse 2, and nope, that didn't do anything. So what I do, I pocket the 10, what is that? Yeah, it's either the 12 or the 14. No, I think purple stripe is 12, right? Ugh. Again, you can tell it's been a while since I've been in the pool hall. Oh my goodness, we've been at this for over 42 and a half minutes? Dang. Who knew I was this dedicated to a pool game before? Oh man. This episode is probably going to be gigabytes, no, not gigabytes, probably going to be well over a gigabyte long though, if I know anything about the way that Magix Vegas 14 renders these videos, at least in 480p. Bear that in mind, this is a 480p video that could probably last over an hour long, and it's already given me this much trouble. What did he think he was going to accomplish with that shot? There was no way he would have accomplished anything from that shot. That didn't look nice. That was an ugly shot. I mean, okay, it would have made sense if he was going for the 9. Okay, so I was right. Purple stripe is 12. Okay, and orange stripe is 11. Alright, I got it now. I got it down now. This is taking too long. What now? What's so simple, Mr. G? All that I saw there was that he tried to make a cross symbol with the balls. That's it. I don't see what he was trying to accomplish with that one. Well, I guess we just have to keep going. I'm looking at my wristbands. I know they're not watches, but you know, it's the only way I can pass the time. But hey, at least I love this track. That's the only reason why I can tolerate this. And just imagine. In some cases, you only, I think you pay like about $8 or $12 an hour to be able to spend time in a pool hall. If a single pocket game takes about more than an hour, or at least 30 or so minutes, I mean, this really uses up your time, and I mean, it uses it up badly. I can't imagine how long a regular tournament game would take if I'm having this much trouble just trying to do this. Come on, let's get that ball out of there. Am I trying to sink the 4? I can't tell. I can't tell if I'm trying to sink the 4 or not. Nope. Why did I decide to use this footage? Oh, excuse me. If I knew it was this bad, I would have re-recorded the whole thing. But then again, that's what the Saturn version's for. I won't have to worry about this with the Saturn version. You see, the benefit about the Saturn version of the game is that it just goes by so much faster. Especially, I mean, even in a game such as Single Pocket, it's not as bad as it's put out to be here. You don't have to worry about having to wait for so many minutes to hours on end just to beat an opponent. And I want to keep in mind, this is still the first round. This is still the first round. If I knew it was going to be this bad, I would have definitely made this portion of the commentary segmented. In fact, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to make this segmented. Oh, this is just too much. This is too much. Way. Ugh. Oh, man. But take your time, player. You know what you're doing. So resetting 9 oh, that's very close. Standard disclaimer, if the cue ball happens to land on that dot where the ball may happen to be, I think that whatever ball you pocketed, if it returns, I think it just goes right next to you. I don't think that your ball gets pushed away. I think that was actually a collision detection glitch that was probably available in earlier prototypes. Who knows? I wouldn't know because, to my knowledge, I don't think any prototype of this game has ever been released. But you know, it's kind of nice to point out things such as that. You know, you never know if that happened to be a real thing at one point or another. Alright, just one more ball to go, and then I could call it a part for now. I mean, Duck, I've been at this for over 48 minutes. 48 minutes and 15 seconds. 48 and a quarter minutes, and I'm still doing this. Oh, Single Pocket is a disaster. Again, I have to repeat myself. Please never ask me to ever play this with you. Never ask me to play this particular mode with you. I will not respond. And if I do, I'll probably be in a very fed up mood. Contrary to how hysterically happy I might sound right now. I'm laughing, but still. I still feel that I'm having a fun time going through this. It's just nice to see exactly how difficult this game truly can be when you don't fully know the easiest methods to get a ball into one hole. Dang, I'm already down a battery bar. And bear in mind, these are rechargeable batteries. These batteries do not recharge in the same fashion as most others. I mean this one, it takes, you know, hours to recharge, but once it's fully charged, what ends up happening is, you just keep losing battery power quickly. I mean these probably only last for about 3-4 hours at a time with my Sony IC recorder. Had I known that, I probably wouldn't have done this commentary, but Hey, it needed to be done. I'm doing the entire Side Pocket series, so it only makes sense. I'm doing every single major pool game that was released in the US or Japan by Data East, so it only makes sense that I get to this and do it right. Okay, unless if Pepe decides to hit the 4, that 4 ball's mine. Well, let's see what he does. He's gonna keep thinking for a while. Oh, nope. Alright, check it out. Alright, he's gonna knock it to the right, or up and down and all around. Crap. Alright, that's a tricky one. I think I can still do it though, but that's gonna take a lot of strategy. Got it. And that's it. That is the first third of this tournament mode. This portion of Single Pocket. Never again. Never again. We'll see you in... What is the next part? Oh my goodness, I've lost track. I've honestly lost track. I'm gonna have to double check. Alright. Alright, we'll be back next time. Oh right, I forgot it's a bulk set. Just hit the next button.